I want to tell you about a $400,000 event that nobody remembered. The client had a massive budget, a beautiful venue, a celebrity MC, a full production team. And when it was over, silence. No buzz, no press, no leads, just a very expensive party that disappeared the moment the lights went down. And here's the thing, the event planner, they did everything right. The florals were gorgeous, the food was perfect, the AV didn't crash out, but they made the one mistake that I see over and over again in this industry. And I'm going to show you exactly what it was and how to fix it. By the way, if we haven't met yet, I'm Jenny Howard Maxwell. I'm an experiential strategist. I'm an author. And for over 20 years, I've been the one in the room designing experiences for brands like Bentley, Freshworks, for nonprofits, and for corporations. I've planned events that have completely flopped, and I've planned events that changed companies the way they do things. And the difference between those two had nothing to do with what the budget was. On this channel, I help event professionals stop just executing logistics and start thinking like a strategist. Because when you make that shift, it changes your career, it changes your income, and the results that you deliver for your clients and for leadership. If that's the world that you want to live in, hit subscribe because we're going to go deep on this stuff every single week. Okay, back to that $400,000 event. Here's what the planner got wrong. They planned the event around what it would like to look like, not what it should do. They asked, what's the theme? What are the centerpieces? What does the signage say? How many foam core boards do we need to print? They never asked, what do we want the guests to feel when they walk in? What do they want them to believe about this brand when they walk out? What do we want them to do next? And I get it, because nobody taught us to ask these questions. We were taught to manage vendors, build run-of-show documents, and keep everything on budget. We were trained to execute, and we all got really, really good at executing. But here is a brutal truth. Executing a beautiful event is not the same thing as creating an experience that drives business results. And until you know the difference, you're going to keep showing up to events that look amazing, cost a fortune, and produce absolutely nothing that you can point true business outcomes to. So, what is the difference between an expensive event and a strategic experience? It comes down to one word, and that word is intention. When I work with a client now, I don't start with the venue or location. I don't start with the theme. I start with 4 questions. And number 1, what is the purpose of the event? Not what theme do you want, not the vibe, the actual business purpose. Are we driving awareness? Are we converting leads? Are we retaining clients? Are we building culture internally? These 4 are completely different events. And if you don't know which one you're designing for, you're just throwing a party. Number 2, what is the core emotion that you're trying to achieve? Every memorable experience is anchored to a specific emotion. Not, we want them to feel good. That is way too vague. I mean, do you want them to feel inspired or proud, connected, exclusive? The emotion drives every single design decision. The music, the lighting, the order of the program, the words on the stage. Number 3, where can we engineer these moments? These are the moments I deliberately design to deliver the emotion. They're not accidents. They're not, let's hope that the keynote lands. They're crafted, they're timed, and they're measured. Number 4, how does this anchor back to the brand? The emotion has to be tied to the brand, not just a good time. If your guest walks out feeling inspired, but they couldn't tell you what company threw the party, you have failed. The feeling has to become memory, and the memory has to belong to that brand. That's it. 4 questions. And when you start every single project with those 4 questions, you stop just showing up as a logistics manager and you start being a strategist. So let me tell you about one of my favorite projects, because this is when it really clicked for me. I was working with a nonprofit, They had been hosting their annual gala for 12 years. Beautiful events every year. They raised a decent amount of money. And every year the board would ask, how do we get more donations? How do we get people to come back year after year? And every year the answer was bigger bands, more entertainment, better food, fancier auction items. When they brought me in, I said, stop for a second. Let's go back to the basics. Why does this organization exist in the first place? They served children aging out of foster care, kids who turned 18 and had no family, no support system, no home to go back to. So I said, that's your event. Don't give me a ballroom with round tables, linens, and a chicken dinner. Give me an experience where every donor feels what it means to be 18 years old with no one in your corner. So from there, we completely redesigned everything around that single emotion. What it feels like to have someone show up for you. Ticket revenue went up 38% that year. Recurring donations increased. And for the first time in 12 years, people were talking about the gala after it was over. That is what happens when you stop planning logistics and you start designing experiences. So here's what I want you to do this week. Pull up your next event or maybe the last one that you just produced and ask yourself honestly, did you start with purpose and emotion? Or did you start with the venue and the vendor list? If it was the location or the vendor list, it's okay. Most of us were never taught anything different, but now you know. And I want to offer you a practical tool to start making this shift for you. I have a free download. It's called How to Prove Event ROI. It's an insights dashboard, just like Google Analytics, but for events. And it walks you through exactly how to design your events and tie your event design decisions to measurable business outcomes. So the next time a client asks, how do we know if this event worked? You will have an actual answer. The link is in the description. It's completely free. Grab it, use it. Let me know if you liked it. Because here's the thing. When you can prove ROI, when you can show up to a client meeting and say, here's what your investment produced, you stop being the person that they hired to set up the chairs and you become the person they can't afford not to call. That is the career. That is the income increase. And that is exactly what I'm here to help you build. If this landed for you at all, if you've been in that room where you have poured everything into an event and walked away feeling like nobody noticed, I want you to know that the problem is not you. The problem is the framework that we were given. And there's a different way to do this now. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. I have new episodes every single week, and I like to go deeper on strategy, on positioning, on how you can make that shift from going from planner to strategist in your mindset, in your client conversations, and in your bank account. And if you're ready to go all in on this, I have a certification program called CPES, the Certified Professional Experiential Strategist. It's the only certification built with this exact transformation. I'll drop the link below. I'll see you in the next one.